Turkish laws govern here. I know maybe thousands of jokes. Yes, I was in the kitchen working with the main chef. Corona is like your wife. You think you can control it, but at the end it controls you. Don't ask me the names of these towns, it's Czech language towns.
Přátelé, teďko vás čeká speciální díl. Nacházíme se v Praze na ulici na Ořechovce a právě jdeme na návštěvu do turecké ambasády, kde budeme hovořit s panem velvyslancem Turecké republiky Egemenem Bağışem. Jalla, do toho!
Are we now on the territory of the Republic of Turkey?
Well, although it's a rental building, diplomatic conventions make this land of the Turkish Republic, so Turkish laws govern here. So if you do something against Turkish laws, if you commit a crime, according to Turkish laws, you would be responsible for it.
And I would be taken to Turkey, to the trial, not to the Czech police.
Well, that depends on the bilateral agreements, but that's an understanding. So there's sovereignty. For example, we have diplomatic immunity. If we do commit a crime, for the Czech police to arrest us, our home country has to lift our immunity or pull us back and try us, prosecute us in Turkey.
This is your first role as an ambassador, and how do you feel to be an ambassador?
It's a great feeling to represent your country, your nation abroad, to represent the president, the ordinary people, the artists, the workers. It's a huge responsibility, to be exact, but it's also great fun. It's an honor, and it's challenging. There are sometimes political issues that you have to deal with, at times social issues, at times cultural or art issues, and most of the time it's the business issues, because the job of an ambassador is also to increase bilateral trade and ensure a better understanding of your culture, of your nation, of your country, of your countrymen's, leaders' decisions, and an ambassador keeps quite busy, but I enjoy every moment of it.
How does a regular day of an ambassador look like?
Well, an ambassador doesn't really have working hours because it's a responsibility, and you are just you wake up into it every morning and you sleep into it every night. So it's not like a 9-to-5 job. There are times when you're asked to attend a meeting 6 o'clock in the morning. There are times when you are asked to travel. There are times when you have to stay up all night long. And if a Turkish citizen needs something and needs to reach the ambassador, you have to be available for them. Or if the leaders of the Czech Republic need to convey a message to the leaders of Turkey, or the other way around, then you have to be ready, available. You always have to be reachable. You don't have the luxury of saying, it's my weekend and I'm just heading to the forest. If there's an emergency, people need to reach you and you have to be able to act on it. It's a responsibility, but it's also fun.
Was the Turkish diplomatic mission always settled in this building? Or?
No. Actually, we have changed the diplomatic missions from time to time, but the residence which you will see used to be the embassy before, and it was the same building. We purchased it in 1976, but we started using that even before. This building was purchased in 1976 and by the foreign minister of the time, Mr. Çağlayan. This used to be the embassy office, and now it's the official reception area of the residence. When it was embassy, this was the ambassador's room. I still use it as an office here.
Aren't you afraid of bugs being here?
No, because I have nothing to hide. Even if there are bugs, It's their problem. It would be a very boring. This is where we host our events. This is where we have our lunches or dinners. And this is, we call it the music room. Sometimes it's a small group. We meet here. The reason we call it music room is because on the walls you see some harp and some musical instruments. That's why we call it the music room. But this was probably house of a family, and they had probably some pianos or some music performances here back in olden times. We're now actually trying to work with Prague 6 to find the history of the building. Maybe we can issue, maybe we can make a book about who lived here before us. This is something that I'm trying to work on right now.
You own this house now?
The government owns this house, government of Turkey.
Wow.
So now you're 100% on Turkish land. Owned and managed by Republic of Turkey.
And then now I can say I've been to Turkey.
Yes,
More
now
than-
we can actually say that. This is when I presented my credentials to President Zeman. And this is Turkey's president. He's signed photograph. And that's when Prime Minister BAİŞ was in Turkey in September.
You were responsible for EU-Turkish relations. You've been a EU minister.
I had the mission impossible, trying to convince a nation that had skeptical concerns about EU to be more optimistic. And I also had a more difficult task to convince 28 countries that didn't really want Turkey in, but wanted to give maybe a chance to accept the idea of Turkey's full membership to European Union. I was Turkey's EU minister and chief negotiator. I was conducting all the talks between the government of Turkey and the European Union institutions. So I was dealing with the EU Commission, I was dealing with European Parliament, I was dealing with EU Council, but most importantly, I was dealing with each and every member state. It was very challenging. It was not easy, but at the end of the day, it was important, it was critical, because being a member of European Union may not be that important, but achieving the standards of European Union for Turkish citizens' lifestyle, to have the same quality highways, to have the same quality communication system, to have the same quality of democracy, human rights, freedom of speech, NGOs, women's rights, children's rights, workers' rights, union issues, to have the same hygiene standards in terms of health were important. And it was my job to prepare the necessary legislation to increase Turkey's living standards. We like it or not, EU is one of the greatest achievements of history of mankind. It's a huge peace project. None of the member states have fired a single bullet to another member state since its foundation. And in addition to being a peace project, it's also a prosperity project, because per capita prosperity is the highest in Europe. I'm not saying per capita richness or per capita income. Per capita prosperity includes all those, richnesses, income, but also the hope for future, the level of oxygen in the air you breathe, the quality of the toys that children play with, the quality of living in every aspect. If you ask me what was the most difficult obstacle, I would say prejudices. Prejudice is something that occurs when two sides don't know each other. One thing I realized when I was Turkey's EU minister is if I could bring every European to Turkey for a few days, 2-3 days alone, it would be much easier for me to convince them that Turkey belongs to this club or Turkey is a part of European or Western culture. But those people who were the most difficult had never been to Turkey. They never met a Turk. They never had a Turkish neighbor. They never dined with a Turk. But they had these prejudices from the things they read, from the things that they hear, from the subconscious that carries on the historical debt or historical angers, the sense of revenge. Those were the ones who would create the most difficult problems. But those who had been to Turkey, those who had vacationed in Turkey, those who had been at a table with Turks, sharing a meal, would be much more welcoming because they would know that Turkey is not a country to fear. And that's actually true for every prejudice issue. People are mostly concerned or scared of people that they do not know or cultures that they do not know about. Once you get to know the person in front of you, the person in question, then you also realize that the same individual or the same group of people or the same nation or the same country has strengths as well as weaknesses. And once you understand those strengths and weaknesses, then you try to relate to them. You find common ground to work with. Unfortunately, that concept was the most important issue in my job. And I still think prejudice is a big problem for many people.
What would you recommend to do in this case to at least try to overcome these cultural barriers between the people?
Well, in many countries, you have a lot of different nationalities, ethnicities, religions, cultures that live together for such a long time and then they melt together. Turkey is one of them. Turkey is a melting pot. There are a lot of Turks, also Greeks, Armenians, Assyrians, Jews, people, dark-skinned, blonde, redheads. Everybody has lived together and have become family. And so everyone has a sense of different cultures. But some countries are not as culturally rich or as blessed as we are, and they have been more isolated. Countries in Central Europe did not have that kind of a migration and did not melt with other nations. So for them, everyone who doesn't look like them is the other. And they are worried about the other because they don't know their culture. They don't know their values. They don't know their possible actions. And they have question marks. So as the others, we have a responsibility to educate the host about what we are. So when I see a prejudice against Turkey or against Islam or against my people, instead of getting angry, I start to think about a strategy, how and when to educate those people so that we cure that disease called discrimination or prejudice. One of the things I wanted to do here as soon as I came was to start a Turkish culture festival where I could bring bands, musicians, choirs, artists from Turkey and have them perform here and share some of our culture and maybe share through conferences, through symposia, the values that govern our people. Why does Turkey host 3.5 million Syrians today? Just because they came to our border? No, because it's in our genes. Because we are accustomed to reach out to those that need help. We have helped Jews when they were expelled from Spain during Inquisition. We have helped Kurds when Saddam Hussein was gassing them to death. We have helped Iranians when they were prosecuted. We have helped the Poles when there was oppression. And we even have a section of Istanbul called Polonezköy, which is a section built by the Polish immigrants. And they still have a church. Everyone in that village speaks Polish, Turkish, and probably other languages. There's a mosque, there's a church, side by side. Not many people know. But even the constitution of Hungary was written in a city called Kütahya, which is in Turkey, because one of their princes had to escape and he built his army. And during his years of rest in Kütahya, he prepared the constitution. And when he actually led into his country and gained the power, he implemented that constitution. So in our culture, reaching out to the needy is a very important daily routine.
I just want to jump a little bit into the history about the Czech and Turkish diplomatic relations.
Actually, Turkey's first appointed ambassador to Prague started working in 1923, which is the same year as the foundation of the Turkish Republic. So we sent a diplomat, an ambassador here, as soon as the country was established. And that shows how important Prague was. But if we go back, even before the foundation of the modern republic by Atatürk, he himself spent time here in Czechia. He was actually in Karlovy Vary for treatment when he was an officer of the Ottoman military, and he had problems, health problems, because of our alliance with the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. He was invited for treatment to come, and he spent almost a month in Karlovy Vary, where he drank that water that people still drink today when they go to Karlovy Vary for treatment, and he took baths, and he was cured. And when he invented the Turkish Republic, when he founded the Turkish Republic, and he did some of the most important reforms, such as the reform of the alphabet, when we changed our alphabet from the old Arabic letters to Latin letters. The letters Ç, Ş, Ü came from his time in Karlovy Vary, where he saw that putting an accent under the C would make the letter sound Ç, or putting an accent under the S would make it into a Ş. And he actually took things from this culture into our language as well, because we had the same sounds, and to represent them in the alphabet, the Czech language played an important role. These glasses were manufactured.
These ones?
Yes, these and also the water glasses by a company, a Czech company called Moser. Since 1800, the Turkish Sultan discovered Moser. And during the Ottoman Empire, all of our sultans used Moser glasses. And since then, many Turkish embassies around the world get their glasses from the Czech Republic, a company established in Karlovy Vary. And even to date, you are now enjoying this beautiful cup of Turkish tea with a Moser glass made here in Czech Republic. But if you went to the Turkish embassy in Washington, D.C., or in Moscow, or in Karachi, you would be enjoying Moser glasses made in the Czech Republic.
Do you have a special place where you burn down all the secret documents?
No, actually, it's not the job of the ambassador to do that. But we don't burn usually. When we receive some cable that's classified, we read it, we put our initials, and then it's usually taken to what we call a strong room. And it's kept there on file in case my future ambassadors want to read that, or something I wrote, or something that I read is usually kept in a locked room. But if something has to be eliminated, It's usually goes through a shredder, it's shredded, and then it's thrown out. But nowadays, the world is not as secret as it used to be, because everything is communicated through these devices, and it's better to be more transparent. So this concept of burning documents or getting rid of information is not that smart or easily done. So it's better to be very transparent, and that's what we try to do.
Has ever happened something like awkward or fun, you know, just in your general life outside the embassy?
Well, actually, I was once walking at Letna Park with a mask on, with a hat and sunglasses, so it was impossible for anyone to recognize me. And all of a sudden, a lady who was jogging stops by and looks at me and says, "Mr. Ambassador?" I said, "Yes." And then she took her mask and said, "Hi, I'm a Turkish engineer working for a Czech company here, and I recognize you." I said, "How did you recognize me?" She says, "Just through your eyes," because that was the only thing that she could probably see, and she recognized me. So I was amazed that people, you know, in such crowded areas could recognize their ambassador, but it was a very interesting period.
How many Turkish people live in the Czech Republic?
According to our records, we have approximately 5,000 Turks who live in the Czech Republic, which is not too much when you compare to 4 million Turks living in Germany, or 1 million in France, or at least 700,000 in Austria. Czech Republic is not very heavily populated with Turks. We might not have that many Turks, but those who are here are predominantly very successful, and they've all set good examples, and they are the reasons more and more people started coming here. For example, these days, Czech Republic is one of the top preference for Turkish students to come to during their Erasmus projects. Mm-hmm. And because the level of education here is very high, the crime rate is very low, people are friendly, and there are very good English language education programs in every field. There are good English engineering courses, there are very good English medical courses, there are very good sports courses, film courses, and the Czech Republic is becoming more and more attractive, and the number of people coming to Prague as tourists also increasing, because Prague is a very beautiful and romantic city, and it has preserved itself. A lot of the buildings are very old, but still very strong, and people like to come here and enjoy the history and enjoy this beautiful romance, and the food is good, and the prices are affordable.
Where is better vacation? In Turkey or in Czech Republic?
Well, for Turks, of course, the Czech Republic. For the Czechs, of course, Turkey. I mean, Turkey is a great country for vacation, price-wise, geography-wise, sunshine-wise. I mean, in Antalya, you can have the sunshine 250 days of a year, which is a great opportunity. And also, we have a lot of history. I mean, just Istanbul was the capital of the Roman Empire. It was the capital of the Byzantine Empire. It was the capital of the Ottoman Empire. And today, it's the cultural capital of Europe. You can find everything there. You can find the places of worship of every religion you can think of. You can find the cuisine of every kitchen you can think of. You can find the music of every ethnicity that you can think of. It's a city with the 16 million people. The city itself is bigger than more than half of the EU member countries. So it's like a country. And every part of Turkey represents a totally different culture. So the cuisine you have in Antep is totally amazing, but the cuisine you have in Izmir or in Kayseri or in Ankara or in Bolu is totally different, but they're all extremely delicious. And Turkish hospitality is quite well known. Turkish food is great. Turkish geography is great. So all these contribute to Turkey being a great spot for tourism.
Top 3 places that you would recommend to any Czech person to visit in Turkey?
Istanbul, Antalya, My favorite is Göcek. Göcek is not very well known, but it's a small part of where the Mediterranean meets the Aegean Sea. It's right in the corner. It's a beautiful symbol of heaven on earth. Most of the bays you cannot reach by cars. So what we do is we do a blue voyage. So we get on a boat for a couple of days. We sleep on the boat, we eat on the boat, but we swim in the best waters of Turkey that only boats can go into these bays. It's the beautiful Turkish coastline. It's the Turkish Riviera that you can only enjoy in small wooden gulets, boats, where some of the local people cook the best dishes, and small sandals bring you fresh bread every morning, and you can do your shopping. We even have floating Migros supermarkets, so that these boats, people staying on the boats, can go and do shopping from these boats, huge boats that are turned into supermarkets. It's a very unique experience. Everyone must try it at least once in their lifetime.
What about Cappadocia?
Cappadocia is also great. Cappadocia is a very ancient part of Turkey. It's in the heart of Turkey. You see a lot of caves that are carved into the mountain where people built their homes, churches, their storages to protect themselves from invading forces. Some of the oldest churches in the world are in Cappadocia, but the best part of Cappadocia these days is hot air balloon tourism. So people who go to Cappadocia get up early in the morning, they get on these hot air balloons, and at times you can see hundreds of balloons in the air. It creates a very interesting photos because down below you have the oldest places of residence carved in the mountains, and on top you have the new technology, the most modern hot air balloons. Together they make a very colorful scenery. It's something everyone has to try.
How many Turkish companies operate in Czech Republic, and what is the state of the trade relations between Czech Republic and Turkey?
Well, between Turkey and the Czech Republic, we have approximately $3.5 billion worth of trade. Approximately Turkey sells $1.5 billion worth of goods to the Czech Republic, and the Czech Republic sells $2 billion worth of goods to Turkey. So the deficit is in favor of the Czech Republic. We are predominantly buying automobiles, Škodas, and we are predominantly selling them automobile parts. So the Czechs take the parts from Turkey, assemble them together, and sell it as finished goods to us. In addition to the automobile sector, we are also providing a lot of textiles, fruits and vegetables, different industrial products, raw materials, mines, and we're also getting a lot of machinery from the Czech Republic into Turkey. Nowadays, a lot of trams made in the Czech Republic are also being utilized in different cities of Turkey. But also in the energy sector, we have a great cooperation. The company Energy Pro, for example, has 4 hydro power plants in Turkey. They're building the 5th. And companies like Czech are also building energy projects where they use different sources of energy to create electricity, and Turkish consumers are using that electricity. But we are now entering a new phase to see what else can be done, because there are a lot of incentives for technological, nanotechnological innovations. So we're trying to bring some investors from Turkey to take advantage of these incentives. We're also trying to take some Czech investors into Turkey to see what can be done. So both my trade attaché and myself, we are focusing on this issue. My goal before coming here was to increase the bilateral trade from $3.5 billion to $5 billion. I still have that goal, but unfortunately I had a setback because of Corona. Things have slowed down, but as soon as the effects of Corona are diminishing, we will continue to work on those issues and increase the bilateral trade. So we need to sell more to Czech Republic, and we need to buy more from the Czech Republic. additionally, we have to create some joint ventures where Turkish and Czech companies can work together in other countries as well, because there's huge potential. The Czech trade rules are very beneficial compared to some other European countries, so we're trying to promote that to Turkish companies so they can establish their logistical centers here and sell to the rest of Europe from the Czech Republic. And Turkey is also a great hub for Czech companies to reach countries in Central Asia, in the Middle Eastern region. So they should invest in Turkey and then use that as a logistical center to open into new markets. So both countries have this capability to become hubs, and we're trying to prosper that and teach that to companies on both sides.
If you compare the measures of the Turkish government and the Czech government, what was more effective?
Well, I could say that both governments have been very successful. Comparing Turkey to Czech Republic would not be fair because the populations are not similar. Turkey is 8 times bigger than the Czech Republic. But comparing the Czech Republic, which has around 300 deaths because of corona, to a country that has almost similar population, Belgium, which has around 10,000 deaths because of corona, it shows that Czechs have been more successful, 30 times more successful compared to Belgium. So we have to commend Prime Minister Bağış and his team in the way they approached this C-19. And the most important element of success was people obeying the rules of the government. When Prime Minister Bağış and Deputy Prime Minister Hamacek announced that everyone should wear a mask and cover their mouth and nose, nobody was out on the streets without a mask. Everybody obeyed the rules and the calls of the government, which was not the case in Belgium, which was not the case in France or Italy or Spain. And that's why you see a very high ratio in the fatalities of corona. Turkey has also done very well, but Turkey's success is we have done more tests per capita than many other countries. Some countries might show low numbers, but they have not done enough tests. In Turkey, we have done millions of tests. Everyone who wanted to be tested has received a result. And because of that, we also have high numbers in the cases, but very low in the fatalities and deaths, because a lot of people were diagnosed very early and they were treated early. But in other countries, unfortunately, they did not have enough tests, they did not have enough masks, they did not have enough respirators, and that caused very horrible results. So I would say both the Czech Republic and Turkey have passed this test with flying colors. I am blessed to represent a country that has only affection and friendship towards the Czech Republic where I'm serving. So I don't have to worry about that, because we are allies. Both Turkey and the Czech Republic are NATO members. We have fought together and we will fight together if necessary. We are not enemies. I am serving in a very friendly turf, a friendly country. So I don't have to worry about that. But if your government is sponsoring terrorism and then you have to hide it and then you have to be involved in some transactions that are against the sovereignty and against the national interest of the country where you're serving, then it becomes a problem. But thank God I'm not in such a position. So I enjoy this beautiful city, this beautiful country, and live among great people like the citizens of the Czech Republic.
Have you had a chance to travel around?
Yes, I've been to Karlovy, I've been to Pardubice. I was planning to go to Ostrava, Brno and other cities, but because of C-19 I had to postpone my scheduled visits. But now that Corona is slowly disappearing, I will reorganize those meetings. I'm looking forward to going to every region and every town and try to learn the culture the local culture of every part of the Czech Republic.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you for hosting us here. That's a great honor for us.
Thank you for being my guest. I hope to see you more often and I wish you success with your endeavors.
Teşekkür ederim.
Ben teşekkür ederim.